It usually starts in silence, not the peaceful kind, but the kind that feels like holding your breath in a room full of people. You learned early how to become invisible, how to sit still, how to not interrupt, how to not need too much. You learned that quiet kept things calm. Quiet kept adults from snapping. Quiet kept you safe. And now, you're praised for it. You're so mature. You're so easy. You're so low maintenance. But no one ever asks what it cost you. Because the truth is, the thing that protected you as a child is the same thing that quietly follows you into adulthood and slowly erases you from your own life. You didn't grow up quiet because you were naturally calm. You grew up quiet because you were listening for danger. Every tone shift, every sigh, every unspoken emotional weather change in the room. You learned to read people better than you learned to feel yourself. And here's the paradox. Your silence once kept you safe, but now it keeps you unseen. You don't feel loud pain. You feel invisible pain, and it's exhausting. Psychologically, the quiet child is not passive. They are hyper-adaptive. This archetype is born in environments where emotional expression was unsafe, inconvenient, or ignored. Not always abusive, often subtly neglectful. Let's name what actually happened. 1. Emotional neglect schema. This isn't about what was done to you. It's about what wasn't done. Your emotions weren't mirrored. Your inner world wasn't explored. Your needs weren't invited. So your nervous system learned a rule. My feelings don't belong here. 2. Hypervigilance. You became alert before you became expressive. Hypervigilance is a trauma response where the nervous system is constantly scanning for threat, not danger in the obvious sense, but emotional volatility. You learned when to speak, when to stay quiet, when to disappear emotionally. Your body became a radar. 3. Avoidant or fearful attachment. Closeness became complicated. You crave connection, but visibility feels dangerous. So you learned to stay near people without fully showing yourself. Present. Helpful. Emotionally filtered. This reshaped your default mode network, the brain system responsible for identity and self-referential thought. Instead of asking, "What do I feel?" your brain asks, "What's expected of me?" That's not personality. That's conditioning. Carl Jung once said, "The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of its parents." But sometimes, the greatest burden is your own unlived life. Because when you grow up quiet, you don't grieve loudly. You grieve invisibly. You grieve the words you never said, the anger you swallowed, the softness you never received. You traded authenticity for acceptance. Over and over again, you became good at not needing, good at minimizing yourself, good at surviving. But survival has a cost. The core fear underneath the quiet child is not fear of speaking. It's fear of disruption. Fear that if you fully arrive, something will break. Fear that if you take up space, you'll lose connection. Fear that rest, joy, or honesty will invite punishment. So even small things become heavy. Asking for help, expressing disappointment, saying no, letting yourself relax. This is invisible grief, mourning a self that never felt safe enough to exist. The quiet child doesn't disappear. They become an adult with patterns. You might, in relationships, attract emotionally unavailable partners. Feel deeply but express cautiously. Struggle to ask for reassurance. Fear being too much. In career, overperform silently. Avoid visibility or leadership. Let others take credit. Tie worth to usefulness. In self-worth, feel valuable only when helpful. Struggle to receive care. Downplay achievements. Feel uncomfortable being celebrated with boundaries. Say yes when you mean no. Feel guilty for having limits. Over-explain your needs. Freeze during conflict with emotional regulation. Intellectualize feelings. Numb out instead of process. Stay calm on the outside, overwhelmed inside. Carry chronic tension with identity. Feel unclear about what you want. Adapt your personality to rooms. Feel disconnected from desire. Ask, who am I without roles? These are not flaws. They are coping strategies that outlived their purpose. Healing begins not with fixing, but with witnessing. Not gaslighting yourself, not minimizing your pain, but saying, this made sense then. It doesn't serve me now. Healing the quiet child doesn't mean becoming loud. It means becoming true. 1. Inner child reparenting. You begin offering yourself what was missing: emotional validation, permission to feel safety in expression. You speak to yourself the way you wish someone had. 2. Shadow work. You explore the parts you were taught to hide: anger, desire, sadness, assertiveness, not to act them out, but to reclaim them. 3. Nervous system regulation. Safety is not a thought. It's a bodily state. Breath work, slow movement, grounding practices, teaching your body, I am not in danger for being seen. 4. Choosing softness over survival. You stop asking, how do I stay acceptable? And start asking, how do I stay honest? One boundary, one truth, one moment of presence at a time. As philosopher Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer. You don't need to be fixed. You were never broken. The goal is not to become louder, but to become whole. If this spoke to you, it's because part of you is ready to be seen. Share this with someone who grew up learning to disappear. And stay, because healing doesn't happen alone. You're allowed to take up space now.